for so many say Honorable Kennedy Akompre Agyapong on a Bawumia. There's a new post about Tuja. The post is really deep. Now the post has to do with who is going to lead the New Patriotic Party. Now, since the start of the race, Bawumia has always been the person, and not just only dear Enyasem Kitwa. Bawumia's lead has always been 50% near the other, and even up until now, Krano, it is still better. But Kamiako is the latest post here, or Modiaba out, a shrinking Bawumia's lead. But then one of the things I want is a shrinking Bawumia's lead. Obi second in Japan, he has not really got anything. So the big question is, what is really happening? In fact, we enter screens, so it was screenshots. In fact, two screens. We are near a website of Global Info Analytics. Now, after they share what they are saying, and almost so or more accounts, whatever is going on. It will share here or say who leads. Or say new poll shows Dr. Bawumia with a clear lead among all voters, but loses ground among delegates to undecided as Agyapong failed to capitalize on Bawumia's slip. Inti on said now no post on the by no price among be brave undecided. So Enkane na Bawumia lead by 57%. Okay. 57.4%. That was the previous. That's previous. And about Agyapong ADH with 29.3%. And Brian Agyapong for Professor Edichum 3 and Kwame Agyapong 3. But then Oba Asia Sisia na lead no a shrinke. Na lead ni shrinke ye no share the one has say or say Agyapong Sisia no ewo 17% and Bawumia has 47%. And a one more so undecided no every accord 27%, which means only 27 undecided no. Ekan Agyapong the no kra na you are looking at somewhere like 37, almost 43%, which is still which is still that in Bawumia at the end. So now no Professor Edichum, Brian Agyapong, Kwame Agyapong, they are all fighting for survival at Enya Asem Kitwa. Now, to get a clear, vivid understanding of this particular post, Yenko on website. So because I like their website, because their website will give us details as to whatever is going on. Yensha Hasi, Ose, National Tracking Poll September 2025, Presidential Primaries and Outlook for 2028 General Elections. Now, Osha Adiweya, as time goes on, we will say Ebeshe Haruna Iddrisu, a seeding Kitiane. So please do stick and stay. First of all, I think we have an issue here. It's okay, it's moving. I say presidential primaries and outlook for 2028. And at one man I had the summaries of findings. But then we are not looking at the summaries of findings. The Emma the any cheaper no okay, I think so. I will say a share summaries of findings. I was so. I say the new tracking poll by Global Info Analytics shows majority of voters prefer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to lead the NPP in the 2028. The poll suggests 57% of voters prefer DMB, while 29% prefer KOE, that's Canadian Agyapong. 6% prefer Professor Edichum Y80, Y80, and 5% prefers Dr. Brian Agyapong, while 3% prefer Kwame Agyapong. In the swing regions, Greater Accra, Central and Western, Dr. Mahamudu leads with 57%, Honorable Agyapong with 32%, Dr. Edichum 4%, Brian Agyapong 4%, and Kwame Agyapong 3%. You see, I say, you be sa Ghana force, okay, Munina, so you voter, so you voter. Who would you want to lead the New Patriotic Party? And over 57% says that they prefer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to lead the party. Now, Osha Asieno so no party say, even in the crucial states, maybe a swing state, and then Accra Ebutiama NPP, Accra Ebutiama NDC, ebi so on sa swing states no. Why now prefer so be leading the country? Again, 57%. No, why not prefer so be leading the New Patriotic Party? Again, 57% say they prefer Kennedy Akompre Agyapong. They prefer Dr. Bawumia. Second, Kennedy Akompre Agyapong with 32%. And Dr. Bawumia 57%. Now, Yembra down has say, however, among MPP delegates, Dr. Bawumia has maintained his lead over his closest challenger, Agyapong. The poll shows him with 47%, and King Agyapong is 17%, and Dr. Brandon Champon 3%, and Edutum 1%, and Kwame Agyapong with 1%. 4% of the delegates declined to disclose their choices, while 27 said they are undecided. In an event of runoff, Dr. Bawumia and Honorable in an event of a runoff between Dr. Bawumia and Kennedy Agyapong, Dr. Bawumia leads 49%, and King Agyapong with 20%. Not disclosed 5%, and undecided 26%. The parents say, "No, she shrink it. Say, I'm fucking Agyapong and tour, near for Bawumia to her. Sanko from you anyway, or Mummy pet yin kind in a few. Ye run off, say, ye son could be ma. Why not be Vutiama? A move 40%, 49% some be Vutiama Dr. Bawumia, and a move 20% some be Vutiama King Agyapong. Meanwhile, 26% of them say, Omu ye undecided. And also 5% say they are disclosive. So even if Bawumia undecided 3%, it puts him on a fair margin, and at 2%, it puts him on a fair margin of 50 plus 1%. That is 51%. Yen to so. Oba say ya or Mao NDC there, or see in the case or see in the race to lead the National Democratic Congress, the poll continued to show Haruna Iddrisu leading the pack with 30%, Esedi Nketia with 24%, Atoforsen with 18%, Julius Debra with 10%, Okudoto Ablakwa with 8%, Eric Opoku with 2%, Joshua Alabi with 2%, Ama Kofi Boa with 2%, and Kwame Ewa Dakun with 2%, Spio Gabra with 1%, and Okuvana Point with 0%. It's a say so far no ya can't MPP for there, but NDC ye bisa voters across the country. NDC voters across the country say, who would you like to see lead the National Democratic Congress? Emu 30%. Some vote ama I won't prefer Haruna Iddrisu. Into your rank here, Haruna Iddrisu na number 1 with 30%. Number 2, Esedi Nketia with 24%. Number 3, Atoforsen with 18%. Number 4, Julius Debra with 10%. Number 5, Okudoto Ablakwa with 8%. Number 6, Eric Opoku with 2%. Number 7, Joshua Alabi with 2%. And number 9, Kofi Boa. Number 9, Kofi Boa with 2%. At least 2% put the talent. 9. Number 9. And a Spio Gabra, 1%, or no, number 10, and Okovanda onya 0. So, summary of findings now, most of them prefer the NDC, most of them prefer say Haruna Iddrisu lead, and Haruna Iddrisu is declared the flag bearer, which puts him clearly in the lead here. However, in a 3-horse race, he see anya shanky for Omudo Duono to go for Miensa. Also, however, in a 3-horse race without Atoforsen, the poll shows Haruna Iddrisu with 45%, Esedi Nketia 37%, and Julius Debra with 18%. And yes, Okudoto Ablakwa ne Atoforsen omu bebre si ano de yi omu nyina mfi ne hwe the top 3. Haruna Iddrisu, Esedi Nketia and Julius Debra. Who would you vote for? You share the top 3. Nipa na oye number 1. O lead ye Haruna Iddrisu 45%. Esedi Nketia followed with 37%, and Julius Debra followed with 18%. And also among NDC voters, Haruna Iddrisu is on 47%. Okay, Esedi Nketia with 39%, and Julius Debra with 14%. So you be nationally, almost say, Haruna Iddrisu only the nationally MPP NDC be so be almost Haruna Iddrisu on 45% of the people say 1% Haruna Iddrisu NDC. Followed by Esedi Nketia 37% and also Julius Debra 18%. But ye bisa NDC phone among NDC voters no, e move 47, some prefer Haruna Iddrisu. Esedi Nketia nya move 39%. For 39%, some prefer Esedi Nketia, and they move 14%, some prefer your friend Julius Debra. In the swing states, states be a MPP, a NDC, untimi decide say ne beto ama we no. Haruna Iddrisu a commanding lead of 48%. Whilst Esedi Nketia is in the second place with 37%, and Julius Debra 15%. So clearly, you could see Haruna Iddrisu is leading. Okay, I say, but in a 3-horse race without Haruna Iddrisu, the race is virtually tied between Esedi Nketia and Forsen. So that's exactly what is going on now. Winning na ebana. It tells you say summary of findings in 2028 general elections head-to-head scenario between Dr. Bawumia and NDC front runners. It is here and yes, okay. One more almost one person di MPP NDC nim kind no. Yem fan say hypothetically no Bawumia and a flag bearer. So Bawumia a flag bearer, you beka so okay, see and the Bawumia to ho. Nya match Bawumia to all the candidates nya share who will win or who will beat Bawumia. Inti ye befa Esiedin Ketia versus Bawumia. That's in 2028 general elections. How the vote will go if nothing changes from today. Okay, send a nema kona ya na bibia amba ebe change vote for Adrian. This is how the vote will go. Esiedin Ketia versus Dr. Bawumia. Esiedin Ketia ebe beat Bawumia by 50%. Bawumia benya vote numu 45%. Esiedin Ketia ebe nye emu 50%. Emu 5% is someone else, but clearly no. Esiedin Ketia versus Dr. Bawumia in 2028. Esiedin Ketia is going to lose. Esiedin Ketia is going to win the elections. Dr. Bawumia is going to lose it. That particular election. So rates no. Esiedin Ketia benya mu 50%. Dr. Bawumia benya mu 45%, which means Dr. Bawumia is going to lose. Julius Debra versus Dr. Bawumia. See, NDC for choose Julius Debra as homo flag bearer. Na okushia Dr. Bawumia in 2028. Julius Debra benya mu 46%. Dr. Bawumia benya mu 50%, which means Dr. Bawumia is going to beat Julius Debra. If NDC4 Eddie Julius Debra as a president and as a candidate, this is exactly what is really going to happen. Yeah, share Dr. Atuforsen any Bawumia. Yeah, the Dr. Atuforsen any Bawumia ekwa. Atuforsen beat Bawumia by 53%. One of the things you have to note is that this is the highest number we've seen so far in the three ranks. Yabo Enkitia, Yabo Julius there. But Atuforsen number no every over a friend is saying 53%. So in 2028, if NDC so present Dr. Atuforsen as their candidate, obe beat Bawumia, no we have 53% of the vote, whilst Bawumia will lose and get 44% of the vote. Now, so if NDC Eddie Haruna Iddrisu ba na on match against Bawumia in 2028, Haruna Iddrisu ebe win the elections with 55% of the votes. Na Bawumia enyemu 42%. So we share the top 3 contenders in the matchup no. Haruna Iddrisu ono take the lead. Obe beat Bawumia with 55%. Second one Atuforsen obe beat Bawumia with 53%. And a third one no Esiedin Ketia obe beat Bawumia by 50%. A bit mako runoff because it's almost a tie. But regardless obe beat Bawumia because obe nyemu 50% na Bawumia nyemu 45%. Regardless of whatever is going on, we share the whole screen so it tells you say Nipa on the lusu to Dr. Bawumia Julius Debra obenya 46% na Bawumia nyamu 50%. However, in the swing regions, in the swing regions the race is as follows. In the swing regions, so you share who will win and who will lose. Swing regions ni nyina no 2028 almost say what the Bawumia ba obe lusu yedi Haruna Iddrisu ba 63% emunkofo no 63% so be vote ama Haruna Iddrisu. Bawumia benya mu 35%, which is Bawumia is going to lose against Haruna Iddrisu. Yeah, they are to forcing eba in the swing state like Accra, Central Regional, and NDC MPP. So swing states no. Yeah, be some who would you vote for if they should present Atuforsen and Bawumia. A mu 65%, so you better try Atuforsen. Bawumia benya mu 33%. Yeah, present Esiedin Ketia and Bawumia swing states no 61% say they will vote for Esiedin Ketia. Yeah, present Julius Debra and Bawumia a mu 58% some vote ama Julius Debra. So Bawumia is losing on all fronts. Bawumia is losing on all fronts. Yen twa so because fine is way there idea now baby na me ankasa me de no this part. Okay, Samuel find this in ha na me de pa. You understand why? You see no say yen fan say Canada compare Queen Agyapong MPP candidates. Let us match Canada compare Queen Agyapong with these candidates. In the friend say Canada Agyapong, MPP for as a flag bearer. How would he fare between himself and Julius Debra, between himself and Dr. Atuforsen, between himself and Esiedin Ketia, between himself and Haruna Iddrisu? How is he going to fare? However, if Canada Agyapong were to be MPP's candidate against the NDC frontrunners, this is what will happen. That's in 2028. In 2028, if Canada Agyapong any Esiedin Ketia ekushemwa, Canada Agyapong benya mu 44%, Esiedin Ketia benya mu 51%, which means Canada Agyapong is going to lose to your friend is saying Esiedin Ketia. In 2028, if NDC for choose your friend is saying Julius Debra, na obe face Canada Agyapong How would it go? King Agyapong is going to win that election with 49%, whilst Julius Debra is going to get 46%. If NDC for the doctor to force him, but so on face King Agyapong, ahin obenya emu 54% some vote ama doctor to force him. King Agyapong benya mu 42%. If NDC for presenting Haruna Iddrisu, now MPP for if MPP for the King Agyapong bar, who is going to win? Haruna Iddrisu is going to win that election with a margin of 55% of the vote, whilst Ken will secure 41%. Yeah, share swing states. Swing states no a states are like Greater Accra and maybe vote ama MPP share NDC. So depending on the system, no, they vote for a particular party. In the swing states, how will King Agyapong fare against these people? If Haruna Iddrisu were to go head on with King Agyapong in the swing states, Haruna Iddrisu benyamu 62%, King Agyapong benyamu 35%, which means King Agyapong ebelusu. Dr. Tuforsen against King Agyapong benyamu 34%, Dr. Tuforsen benyamu 64%. That's a higher number if it's compared to Bawumia. Mr. Nketia, he said Nketia versus King Agyapong. He said Nketia in the swing state benyamu 60%, King Agyapong benyamu 35%. Mr. Julius Debra against King Agyapong. Julius Debra ebe winning elections by 56% of that particular swing state, to Mr. King Agyapong's 40%. So you could see clearly say these polls it tells you say things are not really going on well for a friend is Kennedy Agyapong in terms of a but and you can inquire make us say soon there be and you can inquire make us say soon nipa or no so see soon. Your friend is saying Bawumia, because both of them are not performed. But hey, from now to 2028 in there, a lot of things will happen. Let's see. Corruption allegations, be a bit so let's see. If we try on your back, we have a breaking news about Charles Edubuahe, the arrest, ibam updates right here on this.